In the final trade of the day, joining us now is Henry Schwartz, Senior Director of Product Intelligence at CBOE Global Markets. Happy to have you here, Henry. Where is this so-called big money or smart money going with options trading?
We're basically seeing kind of a reversion in many ways to what's more typical, and even just getting back to kind of I pulled some data at one point looking at the number of days where you had the market up and volatility up, and in single stocks, situations where the single stock was higher by more than a couple percent and volatility was up. And that's kind of an odd, feeling for most traders. That's not normal, right? Usually people say, well, market goes up, VIX tends to come in a little bit. Market goes down, VIX goes up. And market goes down fast, VIX goes up fast. And that broke for most of last year. You had a lot of situations where single stocks were up and volatility was up significantly, and that seems to be kind of fading out of the picture. We're getting back to what seems like a more normal situation.
What about everyday retail traders? What trends are you noticing among the heavy hitters such as a GameStop or the FANG names?
Some of these hot names, right? Nikola, some of these names are actually starting to get hit pretty hard. Tesla is kind of straddles the space between kind of a name that's very popular with institutional and professional investors and retail. But you have a lot of names, Rocket and Neo. The names are not performing well relatively to what we saw, which, you can certainly look at it and say, okay, well, what we saw was kind of ridiculous. And because of that, the customers that have been buying calls very quickly realize that, oh, this isn't making me any money this week, and they have to stop, or they lose their money. And now the question is really, are some of those customers going to test out, credit spreads or test out puts? Because really, the story, a lot of these small accounts have grown up over the last year, and even possibly made plenty of money if they were careful, buying calls and then selling them later. And if that hasn't worked especially in these popular names for the last few weeks, and it doesn't take long for that kind of audience to back off and say, okay, this isn't working now. What comes next? And it'll be really interesting to see if how many of these kinds of accounts and how much volume transitions into trades that might work in a sideways market or in a down market. So far, what I think we're seeing is people are just kind of backing off and trying to figure out what comes next.
Well, thank you, Henry, for keeping us posted.
All right. Thanks, Angela.
Check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.